Well, hello, anyone out there in YouTube land? Matt at Firewood in the Field. It's the first live I've ever done, so thanks for being here, and apologies in advance for I'm sure that I won't be able to keep up. I don't even know how to see the chats. Like, there's a button over here, all kinds of icons lit up, and I don't know what they mean. uh, Flip, green screen, create highlight. No, that's not it. I got my phone out here in the field. I'm going to cut up a little more of this big oak. I was doing some filming yesterday with my CS 8000 with a 36-inch bar, and this is my 7310 with a 32. And I'll have that content out, but I struggled a little bit with this big stuff. I don't get to cut this kind of stuff all that often, but you do get a lot of firewood out of it. I figured I'm going to be out here running the saw, try it live, see what happens. So thanks for being here. This is a red oak. It's about 42 inches across. Hey, Tim from Neighborly Homestead. Appreciate you making it. It's about 42-inch across, and where the saw is sitting, I'll see if I can grab the camera and bring it over, but where the saw is sitting, that's actually like the root flare into the tree, and it's at an angle, and so I'm trying to cut it holding my saw at a little bit of an angle so I don't end up with 16-inch pieces on one end and 20-inch pieces on the other. I already had a little bit of a fail because the first round I cut is 16 inches on the one end and like 19 on the other. But my fireplace will take a piece up to 21 inches long, so it'll be okay. Hey, there we go. I'm getting some more chats. Well, hello. So, hey, thanks for joining. This is my first ever live. So I want to thank you for being here, and then apologies in advance for just how poor this production might be. But let me get the saw warmed up, and I might try to push this around out of the way, and we'll get going here. Well, here, just to show you. I don't know if I'm going to get this on the camera or not, but that's where my thumb is. 42 across. It's big for me, right? I don't normally get wood that big. Let's see, we got Connie Hess. Hey, hello, thank you. Trying to read the chats a little bit. Let me get the saw running and we'll get to cutting here. Up for just a minute. I'll try to push this round out of the way. You know what? While it's warming up, let me bring the camera around and try to show you. I don't know if it's going to pick it there. You see the angle? And that's not necessarily cut. That's how that root flare is forcing it to lay. And then I'm kind of on a little bit of a hill. So I'm going to try to go at this and hold my saw at a similar angle. Yeah, we'll see. I gotta cut it up anyway, so if I screw it up, oh well. I can put you back here somewhere. What I use the wood for? Firewood. So I heat my house partially with this, and then I also sell firewood. Not a whole lot. I have a roadside stand. If you look, I've got some videos posted showing the roadside stand where I sell like $5 bundles, and I got stacks for 20 bucks. I can't really produce enough to sell in bulk. I do have a wood yard out there that's got about 5 cords in it, but that's not much once you start selling bulk stuff. We'll try to roll that biggin out of the way so they're not bugged up against each other. a minute ago, this thing is sitting at an angle, so I'll try to see. Are they both the same size? Yes. So it's actually a little bit bigger. This is the root flare. So as you go further back in the slug, it gets a little wider. Where that's cut is 42, and it's just a little wider as you go back. Bar for reference. I see that coming. Yeah, this big stuff, it can be a pain. This, maybe the joint just a minute late or two. This thing's sitting at an angle, so my cut's even worse than usual. Forgot to bring a hammer with me. I really need a hammer to hit that ledge. See if I can find a log or something. Well, first slab is cut. I was probably, sorry if I was yelling, I still had my headphones on. Well, I did what I was afraid would happen, but I mean, it is what it is. One end of that is 16 inches, the other end is probably like 12. I did my best trying to hold, I had to go at it with an angle on my saw to match the angle from the tree service cut. It is what it is. Let's see, we got a comment here. I keep watching, but I'm milking and don't have unlimited data. Gotcha. Appreciate it, Brandon. Appreciate you calling in. One angry bandit, wood eater. Yeah. Harmony stems that I cut off a tree. No, this was a local tree service that I've been trying to partner and make friends with some local tree service to get a supply of wood instead of cutting a tree down myself. I only take trees down if I have to. I do live on 10 acres. I've got a couple standing dead oaks I need to drop. The word gets out when you're a wood hound, your neighbors, your friends, they can save money if you come get the wood. So this big oak was taken down in the middle of town, and tree service brought it out here and dumped it for me. I gotta do something with it to get rid of it, so I'll probably noodle that big thing in half next. I've actually got another chunk over here to cut up. On how long these lives usually run. Right there. So this was the trunk of the tree immediately before what I was just cutting on. It's another big one. Merry St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Is it St. Patrick's Day? Yes, it is oak. It was a pin oak. Oak is my favorite firewood. We get a lot of it around here. Let's measure that one real quick and see what it comes in at. I was looking all over for my tape measure. It was in my pocket. Easiest place for me to lose something is when I have it in my hand or in a pocket. right, so that's on this end where that little uptick is. It's 49 inches to that point. But that, I mean, that's like a root flare. Thanks. Yeah, I like the place. That should go through a mill if it's clean. No, it's not clean. It was very knotty, ants in it. Had some hollow spots, some rotten spots. So the tree company just needed to get rid of it. And I'm only a few miles outside of town. They were able to bring their dump truck here and just dump it right off for me. I usually try to stay away from this biggest stuff because it slows me down. But let me measure the other end real quick here. We're 42 on the other end, and here you're asking about if it was good for a mill. If you look up Firewood in the Field on Google, you'll find my location with my firewood stand. I'm in just outside of a little town called Pacific, Missouri. Let's see if I can get a better view of this. So you can probably see it now. Yeah, see how all the limbs and stuff, that's gonna be all knotted up. But it won't be really good firewood either. I mean, oak's good firewood regardless. That some of that knotted, twisty stuff is very dense, and you actually get better heat out of that. It's just difficult to deal with. Well, I've already got this marked at 16 inches. I use the perfect stick. Big Hog in the Field. Why? Because this is firewood in the field, and we make firewood in the field. I do sell some. I can't produce. I have another full-time regular job. I got a wife and kids and a busy, happy, active family. So I make firewood as a hobby, and I do YouTube to help kind of document it also as a hobby. I sell a little. I did move 10 cords of firewood this year through my stand. Let's see. Not slabs. No, I don't do slabs. I don't have a sawmill or any of that stuff. I'm not skilled enough. I just like to make firewood. I like to run chainsaws, log splitters, and make firewood. I'm gonna try to get this cut up next, and then I'll just see what time of the day it is. I've got I was cutting up a bunch of other big stuff yesterday. There's the grizzly. Go a little further. Yeah, that stuff out there. It's from the same tree service dump. It was a little smaller. It was like 38, 39 inch. I cut most of that up yesterday with a different saw, but that saw had developed a fuel leak. I had to admit to my wife she was correct. I came in, she said I smelled like gas real bad. I'm like, well, I didn't spill any gas. Turns out the saw, I guess the fuel line's got a crack or something in it. Fire Creation said, yeah, I like it. It's my therapy. You know, it's I work, I'm an engineer. I work at a computer all day, and I'm in a building, and I don't hate my job, but I get, you know, firewood's kind of therapeutic in my mind. Plus, we do heat our house with part of it, you know. Hey, Derek, let's see that saw. Sure, let me bring it over here. This is my newest saw in the arsenal. All right, so this is an Echo 7310P. It's had about 10 or 11 tanks of gas ran through it. It's broken in. Fairly new. I bought it brand new a couple of months ago. It's a 32-inch bar, and the chain I'm running, gosh, I didn't bring this all with me. It's not a safety chain. I guess I'm going to call it full chisel, full house. It has single rakers. It's Oregon. Was it the 75? It's power cut to match this bar. 75 EXL maybe? No, the LPX was the safety chain. This is the non-safety chain. Not that safety chains are bad. I'm not saying they are. I almost wonder if a skip tooth will be better on this. This saw 73 cc's. This is the biggest bar they say you can run on it. So sometimes, and maybe it's operator skill or lack thereof, it either bogs or it chatters. So not steel. No, it's not a steel. I do like steel. I have an older MS290 Farm Boss, kind of a prosumer saw from like 2005, and then I've got a little MS180 for limbs, but I can't afford a steel of this size. Like, you know, a 500i, which I guess would be a comparable saw to this, is, you know, $2 grand, where I got this for under $1 grand. So it's still not cheap, But yeah, Echo 7310. That's right. Hey, thanks. I got a new sub. Hey, Mike. Apologies if I'm not keeping up with the chat. It's my very first live I've ever done. And Echo, I found don't rev as high. It could be. You know, sometimes you get what you pay for. I like Steels. I like Huskies. I started running Echoes years ago. I bought a CS 670 used because I just needed something that would run a 27-inch bar for a big oak tree that came down at my mom's. And it was a slower saw, but it was kind of weird, old and quirky, you know, kind of like me. And I liked it. But I don't know. I'm not going to bash one brand or the other. They all have their points. I really like Echo. For me, they're at a good price point for what you get out of the saw. Any snow yet? No. Well, yes, actually. So it's January 3rd right now, but we had snow back in November, which is a little early for us here in Missouri. It's off and on. We had several inches of snow come down, and then we had a warm snap, and then we had a cold snap. So in Missouri, we can get all 4 seasons in a week, or maybe even in a day. One day it was like 78 degrees. Woke up the next morning, it was 15, you know, Fahrenheit. I don't know who else watching. See, I have 2 Echoes, but I prefer Steel. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about Steel products. I've got an old straight shaft Steel brush cutter, you know, weed eater, string trimmer. I think it's 30 years old. I've only ever put gas in it. That's it. Never had to do anything. I put a fuel filter in it once. It just runs. It just goes. Where at in Missouri? I'm in St. Louis. I'm not too far from you. So I'm outside of Pacific. Outside of Pacific. If you Google the name for my channel, it'll show you my firewood stand. I got a little stand where I sell some firewood. Let's see. All right, I've been on for 26 minutes. You guys want to see me try to cut up this gnarly, knobby piece of oak? All right, I'm gonna reposition the camera. Yeah, buddy. I might have to go. I did forget a hammer, but I've got my wedge. I've got a log to smack it with. Sure. Best wishes on your stream. I think it's red oak. It was a pin oak, I'm pretty sure. So I like all oaks. I think white oak's my favorite for cooking with out of the oaks, but I get a lot more red than white oak. All right, let me see if I can't get you set up somewhere where the sun doesn't glare on you too bad. How's that? Is there a sun glare? What color undies are you wearing? This is the wrong kind of channel for that. Undies, what are those? I don't understand. What? No, it's not the kind of channel for that. No chaps? No, I have chaps in the house, but I sold my Harley. Actually, I traded it for a Kubota tractor about 20 years ago. Well, 15 years ago when the second kid come along. Lost a little contrast. Okay, hey Dad, how's it going? Let me see if I can find. The sun is not going to cooperate, I don't think. Oop. Get the house in the background. I try not to put the house on camera, but too late. All right, let's see. I'm trying to level the thing out right now. All right, that's more better. So you don't cut your leg. Chainsaw chaps. Oh yeah, I could get chainsaw chaps, but I don't. Wear whatever safety gear you feel is appropriate. And I'm not going to say chainsaw chaps are good or bad. I just don't wear them. I have ear protection. I have eye protection. There you go. All right, we'll see how that goes. See how that does. I'll get my log handy so I can use as a hammer on this wedge here. There's that. Is that gonna? Yeah, that's gonna work. So right off the bat, I'm cutting through a knot. So we'll see how it does. We'll see how it do. very bottom. It's got it like sticking up weird. 2 days later. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, it's slow. Yeah, I'm not representing the Echo brand very well right now, am I? Anybody still on? Oh, there it is. The sun was blocking the numbers. So there's like a piece of a limb like cut off at the very bottom. It's kind of propping the whole thing up. Might as well get another wedge or maybe hit it with the tractor. That'll last through the whole winter. Yeah, it's a lot of wood in there. That's true. The wedge just slipped in. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of experience cutting the big stuff, but the ones I have done weren't nearly as knotty. So you can see I missed my cut. Like that's what was holding the log up too. So I came down from the top of the log, trying to get as much of it as I could before I committed to one side. And when I did that, I angled it, and then I noticed when I was in the middle of cutting that I was cutting too close. I wasn't cutting in a straight line. Well, I was cutting in a straight line, but not how I wanted. It was going to end up with a really short side for firewood. So I kind of angled the saw a little in the middle of the cut. That's why I was struggling for a while there. All right. God bless from God's son, David. Oh, thanks, David. Oh, so I know I'm way behind on the chat. Well, hello everybody who joined. Let me see. 142. Oh, hey. All right. All right, there. The chickens are singing too. You can't. Yeah, there you go. You can see my messed up cuts on this one. So that's where I realized I was going to leave it too skinny. So I started to angle it. Yeah, I'm going to cut up the entire log. I have nothing else to do with it. It's going to be firewood. I don't need to be handling a chainsaw. Okay, well, appreciate the feedback. Tell me what I did wrong, or help me learn. But did you see something I did unsafe? Or this isn't my normal modus operandi. I'm usually cutting regular size stuff. So normally I run a 24-inch bar or a 27. 32 is a little much, and I actually have a better saw for this. I have a CS 8000 Echo with a 36-inch bar, but it's yeah, William, hey, appreciate it. Now, you know, everyone can learn. So I'm almost 50. I've been running chainsaws for 30 years. This is a bad example. My first live for a big knotty log with a saw I've hardly ever ran. Not perfect. I could always improve though, like any of us. But if I had my other saw out here I'm more familiar with a 36-inch bar, no, don't shut up. Talk all you want. If you got pointers for me, if there's something you see, if I'm holding it the wrong way or too many RPMs, you know, give me some advice. I'm happy to take some advice. If I had my other saw out here with a bigger bar, I wouldn't have had to go across from both sides. And I'm a little more familiar with it. It's bigger, heavier, and slower, but I'm more familiar with it. But anyway, well, guys, I'm going to sign off, I think. I appreciate everyone who joined. And if you like this kind of content, I'm not always screwing stuff up with the saw. Sometimes I'm splitting wood or fixing a tractor or something like that. Feel free to check out the channel. But thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for chiming in. Take care. How do you end this? Crank your chainsaw off. Yeah, there we go. I don't know how to end the live stream. I am also technologically challenged.